Good evening. Welcome back to Breath of Fire 3. You'll probably very quickly notice that this video is shorter than the last ones. I'll cover that in a minute. But this is not being streamed. This is strictly recorded. I'll explain the time gap between these two as well. And I'll try to cover everything when we get some time that's just dedicated to wandering, which won't be too long. So last time we came here to the desert, and what I did do was I took care of some side treks. Um, the primary thing that included was getting a second set of speed boots, which will either end up on somebody else or something. Unfortunately, because we went into the desert and fought some stuff, the way that I had to do things led to us getting a lot more experience than originally intended. So Ryu's pretty high leveled, Ray's pretty up there, and Momo's pretty chunky at the moment as well. But the good news is we did get a Swallow Eye, so we will eventually go and get Hachio unlocked. Other than that, and I will explain the enemies in the desert, even though they've all been fought. Um, we got this from one of the enemies in the desert, and I'll explain who and how and show it off, because I know we're going to run into it again. But this is one of the few really good healing abilities you can get as an extra skill. Other than that, I believe Ladon is actually finished. Or no, he's not finished, but he's getting there. And I went ahead and put Ryu on him as well, because after those levels with Fall, he's a real chunky boy. And the fact that Ray's defense is this high, hell his attack as well, is kind of ridiculous. But let's go ahead and get to it. We're going to rest and top off. We don't need any rest. I could have swore I saw Ryu missing some health. Okay, never mind, my bad. Go into desert. So our primary goal for this session will be getting through the Desert of Death to the oasis that Horace was mentioning. Now, the directions are move north until the west star is due west, and then head east until you can no longer see that star, and then north again. Uh, we went over a few things about that, but you can also just turn one tick east from the North Star and just go this way, period, and you will also achieve the desired result. We'll do it the proper way, though. But this is the Desert of Death. This was what originally, when I was little, thanks to that localization issue, and I did verify it, it was a localization issue for the note, stonewalled me, but it's quite digestible now. So, let's get to the explanations while we're busy with this. My schedule is not going to open up anytime soon. Oh, that's grass. Looks like it. So I am shifting to a recording schedule, or not even really schedule, but I'm shifting to recording rather than streaming. I'm hoping the overall quality is about the same, but this does mean that most videos will be shorter. This is to ensure that I am able to actually keep putting things out on a daily basis. So I ask for your patience with that. Good news is we're almost at the end of the game. So at least if you're only here for Breath of Fire, you won't have to put up with it for too long. Overall, though, so you're generally recommended to use the water immediately, but you can actually get away with a few more steps. And do that each time if you feel a little uncertain as to how well you're managing things. But anyway, I do think this will work fine for most things I record, and I do intend on doing other RPGs, classics, and JRPGs. And this is the one reason why I ended up a little well, not really over leveled. We are nearing the end. These battlefields have really nice items, like those swallow eyes and other stat boosters. Um, so you kind of want to scour over things and ensure you've gotten whatever you can get. Magmite is just like the Vulcans from the volcano. Uh, well, at least the model, anyway. The good thing to note about them is they also have a really rare item that they can drop, and that was one of the things I was trying to get off stream. I believe stealing actually doesn't give you anything of major note, but the item in question is a nice armor. With our Charmer not in the party, the probability of seeing that is, well, it's not completely unreasonable, but it's pretty low. See, that was a multivitamin. That was how I got those two swallow eyes. And because I wasn't sure of how the big items that I was trying to grab were on the field, I wasn't sure if I had to scour the entire area or if I would just find a different piece readily available. Speed boots ended up being on a little skeleton like 2 steps away from the spawn point on its battlefield. Tried to look for a piece of armor, but I either accidentally missed it. I mean, that wouldn't really be. I don't think anybody misses on purpose for something like that. But yeah, something like that happened. It just didn't work out. I don't know what's next on my agenda after Breath of Fire 3. I am still going to be running Underrail until it has completed, and that's going to take a while. But I do want to have something else in rotation for my sake as well as the channel. Huthu. Ooh, it's so hot I'm panting like a dog. We're supposed to head north, right? As long as we can see the stars, we should be alright. It's a long trip ahead. Better conserve water as much as possible. Don't this just beat all? Everywhere you look, sand. How are you supposed to know which way you're going in this? Yeah, you hate it, it's coarse and it gets everywhere. Um, I don't know if I'm immediately going to go into another Breath of Fire game, but I do still intend on running through 1, 2, 4, and Dragon Quarter. I also would eventually like to do a review of 3, and then maybe do a monologue slash, I guess, observational analysis of the first 3 games, because for reasons we'll cover at a more appropriate time. But I don't know. I've got options. A person commented on I believe, the last video for Breath of Fire, recommending or requesting Xenogears. I don't know if that's going to be an immediate option, but, if I'm going to be doing the classics, I'm going to be doing that one eventually. Especially if Xenosaga is going to come up, and it is. Yeah, if y'all have requests, I'll hear you out, As long as something isn't a known bad for me, I'll probably be willing to tackle it at some point. I know Final Fantasy is sooner or later going to end up on the list. Just going to have to decide how I want to do that, because boy, do you have some options on those earlier entries, don't you? I don't feel like dumping money on Pixel Remaster yet, though. Hmm. So we'll start heading to the east once the end of this night. Unfortunately for the enemies here, Blitz honestly does the job really well. So everything else is the only thing that can survive Blitz here I've seen is the Magmite. That's literally the only thing that can withstand it. And even it doesn't get off scot-free. Really? Huh. And as you can see, he hits like a truck. Oh, I accidentally put the wrong thing on the fairies. So we ended up wasting a lot of the effort for fights. But I did grab a Holy Mantle and Bell Collar, which they're supposed to decrease and increase encounter rate respectively. Pardon me. So we've got that equipped just to keep us from accidentally power leveling. But it also theoretically help ensure I get the whole desert in one session. But for those of you that have watched since the start, I hope you've enjoyed the ride. Breath of Fire 3 is a special thing to me. We do still have a few parts, but I figured I'd go ahead and get that out of the way now. And we'll start heading east on the next night. I don't believe the dialogue has changed yet. Oh, I wonder just how big this desert is. Huh. Why do they call it the Desert of Death? Don't forget to check the direction. Stars when you break camp. I wonder what all the monsters here in the desert eat. Probably people like us, out for a walk in the desert, eh? One thing I will need to figure out, since we're not making use of the borders anymore, or at least while I'm not streaming, is what I'm going to put there. As you can see, might be slightly to the left rather than being dead center, but that's fine. So yeah, 2 nights north, and then you can start heading east. Also, a really easy way to keep track of the desert. It has little. You look at the desert floor, like it has little arrows pointing west. So as long as that's pointing to the left of your screen, you're going north. So if it's going towards you, then obviously you're going east. It's honestly quicker than looking for the stars, I think. So one of the groups that I watched back in the day, which now it's mostly one person in it, uh, they had the side panels filled with like game art. I might see about setting that up. It should be easy enough, I think, if I find the right stuff. And I would try to make it official art, obviously. But we'll see. Again, if you have recommendations or requests, I would gladly hear you out. But yeah, total items you can get in the desert. There's a good item for Pico. There's the speed boots we did get. Armor, which I unfortunately missed. And a royal sword, which is the one that Manila was offering for the whales, spearfish, and brandy. So that's a nice alternative if you don't feel like fishing up all those things. We'll use the water after this. Okay, we just get double rock butts. That's fine too. Yeah, Blitz. On someone like Ryu, Blitz is just the end-all option for crowd control. And if you have literally... Okay, that one actually hurts. Huh. I guess I'll stick with ice and see what happens. Bye. Um... Because so long as you have somebody that can heal so you're not eating up your healing items, it's honestly a way better usage of AP. Wow, that was a really weak item, thanks. It's the most cost-effective method of clearing out things this late, and if you can guarantee it's going to clear out things, or that it won't... Oh, whoops. So yeah, as you can see, the first damage ticks are nothing major. If you go through 5 of them, it's treated as damage taken, rather the maximum health penalty from dying and not coming back up before the end of combat. Um, we're not going to see that happen in the desert. They do give you enough water. We'll check the star once we break camp. Yeah, that's one, when I do review this game, that's, let's see. Okay. That's the one big issue I have with it. Physical scales really well in the end game. And magic, not not so much. It's still useful offensively, but why waste 20 AP dealing 300 if you're lucky to hit a weakness when you can pop a few buffs and throw a super combo or dragon form claw weakness for 4 digits. Which this isn't an issue with just Breath of Fire 3. There's a lot of other games. Which to give you some context, this is actually being recorded a week after the last Breath of Fire session, so the previous Breath of Fire video was a week ago at the time of this recording. In that time, I was able to pick up Final Fantasy IX again. And that's another example. The black magic in that game, really strong early game. Like it'll hit 2, 3, 4, 5 times as strong as your good attacks if you're hitting an elemental weakness. And while, yeah, you will still hit comparatively late game, literally anything that brings up reflect, and you're just gonna have to try doing something new. At that point, just bring physicals that can hit for damage cap. Just I think 4 did a better job of this, as in Breath of Fire 4, but we'll see whenever we get to that one. But yeah, just a lot of games from this era, and give or take a few years, magic just does not scale super well in the end game. It was like that in Shin Megami Tensei up until 4. Yeah, 4, but especially in 4 Apocalypse. Because when magic starts being able to crit, well, at that point the gap closes real quick. Which, SMT4, pretty solid game. For Apocalypse, better gameplay, if a bit weaker on everything else. Really strong conclusion, though, especially for that series. Highly recommend it. The series as a whole. Nocturne would be my preferred entry. And since it's adjacent to another series that has gotten particularly popular, Persona also really solid. Uh, where everybody loves 5, I prefer 3. And honestly, 2's really solid as well. Just make sure to play them in the correct order, which is Innocent Sin, then Eternal Punishment. Which is a hot mess in and of itself, thanks to how various things went with localization back then. We'll check the position of the star. Me? I'm fine. You should be worried about what's his name, the one wearing the fur coat. And I feel like this is back to the boat thing, because you should know his name by now, Momo. I'm alright. I think we're going to make it, Ryu. Is God testing us? I'm holding up okay, but I think our little engineer might be having a rough time of it. I would like to point out, not only is Pico... No. I would like to point out that not only is Pico outside... Pisu. Oh, okay. He looks like he's having trouble sleeping. Maybe the heat's bothering him. But seriously, he's outside sleeping rather than in the tent. Can we just respect that the plant life is thriving in this desert? Like, seriously. He's doing his best. So, we'll check after our first and well, we'll check after the second water break, but this should be good by the end of this night, and then we just head due north. So overall, the Desert of Death is not terrible. It just, if you were playing it back in the day, didn't have access to the internet and all, and you didn't think to check with Horace again rather than just inspecting the note, you were in for a bad time. Apparently, the PAL copies, or the European releases, um, literally all, like both Horace's explanation and the note, were both translated wrong. So you either needed to know or you just got lucky. I feel super bad for those people. We'll take a quick peek. We'll check after the second one, but yeah, it'll probably be until the end of this night. So, on the chance that people who are watching this are interested in a Breath of Fire 1 and 2 run, here's a question for you, and by all means, please comment. I do need the feedback. Would you prefer it to be as is, as in just play the game flat, or do you prefer it if a, and I believe that's Oasis, or would you prefer it if there was a retranslation slash, like a correction patch applied? Reason I ask is one's pretty dated, like overall it's just dated. But two, apparently, like, I've played through it, but I played through it with a correction applied. Two's natural state, at least for NA, is infamous for being just terrible. And a lot of people swear by the other translations. So, for people who would, nice level, for people who would, be wanting to see that, would you prefer it if it were vanilla, just straight clean? Or would you want it to be a retranslation patch? So, one, it's, you know, it's more accurately translated. And two, oh, all right. I guess we'll go ahead and start heading north again. And two, some of them actually do offer, shall we say, corrections that make it more fluent with the later games. So terms that would have come up in 3, or at least the ones that are relevant, would be more accurate. How do y'all feel about that? Let me know in the comments. But playing through this and 9, Final Fantasy 9, I'm gonna just say this: last year was a terrible year for me. These two were definitely good experiences, and I'm 100% standing by my decision to hit up classics, things from yesteryear, and so on. Same text. Same text. Just it's nostalgic, but it feels good. Oh, let me rest for a minute. Are you sure we're walking the right way? Sorry, we're okay. I'm sure we're doing okay. Is this God's way of saying that we are not supposed to meet with a god? Gar and I are fine. Don't worry. Leave the fighting to us. I mean, I would if Gar was anything other than a master tutor skill depository at this point. And it's really a shame because when I played this when I was little, my party was Ray and Gar, as I mentioned before. He really just Pico's just an inherently better Gar because you can level him up from 1. Just really good. Pico has way higher counter rates as well. Like Pico's is a flat 50%. I think the second highest is 12.5, if that, naturally. So yeah, that is 100% Oasis. And it looks like we're making pretty good on time. So I might include a few other bits as well, just to have a nice tidy hour. But we'll see. We do still have a couple of days of desert trekking left. At this point, we don't need to be too stingy on the water. We have enough for 2 complete days and then a part of another. Haven't decided what I'm doing immediately after 3, like I said. I might put in a quicker game that's just, something to freshen up things before jumping into another RPG. Yeah. I would love to get an encounter with the monster I got cure from, because I find this one to be a super cool enemy. Hey, speak of the devil, so we're just going to sit here a second. Drac is paralyzed by the heat. You haven't really seen paralysis come up yet. That's a thing that comes in a little bit later. But you can just kill him. He cannot do anything to defend himself. He starts with it, it does not wear off. So what happens if we cure his paralysis? So now he's able to move and everything. Now, you would be using Examine here, but we already have it. But here's what he does. You helped him out, so he'll randomly target one of your party members and use Cure. It is a full status cleanse and full HP. It just max heal. And then he leaves. That's it. You did him a solid, so he repays you, and then he gets the hell out of Dodge. I think if you attack him, he might actually fight back, but I mean, I just think that's a really cool thing. That's one of the things that 3 does really well. Different enemies act in different ways based on what you do. And we covered that with Vulcan. We covered it with some of the other stuff, I believe. But that is the only place in the game, I believe, to get Cure. So I think that's really neat. We'll wait for the notice to come up and then we'll look over towards Oasis, because it should be pretty visible by this point. Sun has risen. Walking during the day only wastes energy. Time to make camp. Or not? You can kind of see, I think, unless that's just the clouds. But yeah, it becomes increasingly visible at night now. Why would God wish to create such a place as this? Doesn't this beat all? Now he's sleeping inside. Poo poo? Why? Why do we have to go through all this? We're almost there, right? Aren't we? So obviously, this is a highly uncomfortable trek for everybody, so I can 100% understand. I hate summer. Give me spring, give me fall. I used to be okay with winter, but after getting sick twice last year with the you-know-what, I think my ability to withstand the cold has kind of gone away. So give me the medians, don't give me the 2 extremes anymore. Which, granted, you can still bundle up in winter to take care of the cold. You can't do shit about the heat. You can only take so much off, you know? You can take off even less if you're outside. At that point, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Yeah, I would like to cover the entirety of Breath of Fire, excluding the Japan only mobile game that we refuse to acknowledge exists for good reason. Um, Want to do that. I'd like to tackle Final Fantasy eventually, but that's a beast. Lot of entries. Oh, hey. Shouldn't we be able to see the Oasis by now? Yeah, that is weird. I guess it's there to let you know, yes, you're getting closer, and then they take it away to maybe make you second guess yourself. Maybe we can see better from the top of that hill, huh? Chief, that's suspicious to me from a mile away, and I've got this great view. Let's go. Look at this guy, just chilling in the sand. He's like, yo, I was cool in there, but I'm hungry. I'm not sure what he's supposed to be, unless that's like a mammoth. A weird mammoth with tusks and human hands, but, whatever. I believe he's weak to ice, but yeah, he's not going to last very long. I could use Kaiser here, but it's just if there's an elemental weakness, warrior and then element is usually going to cover you. And we're just going to keep Nina alive. That's really all she needs to do. So yeah, between this form, what should be a weakness, and War Shout just buffing offense even higher, I'm looking at 4 digits easy. We might break 2,000 at this point. Okay, at least for now she outspeeds it. So we won't have a repeat of what happened with Juno. Okay, that might be bad. Oh. Okay. Okay, no, that worked out. The other two, we'll figure it out. 1,500, yeah. Don't like that counter rate. Don't like that focus either. Okay, does he just have a 100% counter rate? Okay, okay, never mind then. Okay. Yes, I hit him for his weakness, but that was quicker than the leech back at the plant, I feel. Ah. I guess they were trying to be kind since you could have messed up and drained your max health a little, but geez, that was easier than expected. The howling could have been bad. Don't even know what those sand dust clouds are. Like, I don't know. The heat must have been too much for her. Who can blame her? Having to fight that monster after walking for so many days? Sorry, Ryu. We're so close. We won't be able to go any further with her in that condition. What should we do, Rhea? Um, I'm sorry. I don't want to slow you down like this. Ooh. He looks worried. Is Nina okay? Not exactly in great shape myself either, but we can't move Nina while she's in such bad condition. How bad is she, Princess? Right. We were so close, too. I suppose we could just use the Rakta and start over. I mean, we know the way by now, right? It ain't her fault. Maybe we're just not supposed to make it. I do appreciate that even with the obvious frustration everybody would be having, everybody's just, yeah, no, like, this isn't great. Raktas. Strong, sturdy, able to live in the desert. They can take anyone lost back to base camp. But Raktas have another talent as well. Can I? You won't be able to move until you take care of Nina. So, here's the thing. He would serve you well if you were wanting to return to base camp, but, you know, we just want to get to Oasis at this point. The meat of a Rakta has water and other nutrients that can resuscitate a person suffering from heat stroke. Oh no! It died like it would on the Super Nintendo! So, killed the Rakta, huh? Won't be able to get back now. I'm impressed, Ryu. I didn't think you had it in you. Well, hurry up and get that meat to the princess. Don't worry. We'll make it. We're not going to die in a place like this. Not after Balio and Sunder screwed up that bad, right? Not as long as you're around, at least. As I watched you kill the Rakta, for some reason, I thought of that time we fought the Nue together. Funny, huh? I will admit I have missed some of the camp things, but I have at least attempted to get as many of them as possible. If you skip the camp talking to people in camp, you really do miss out on some character bits. And it's just little things like that that it's just like it's not really anything deep, right? But it's very human. Just don't know why, but I thought about that. Funny, huh? With the sacrifice of the Rakta's life, Ryu is able to save Nina's. Helping the weakened Nina, the party makes their way to the oasis. Eh, yeah, pretty good time. 40, 44 minutes. Not too shabby, all considered. Behold, the legendary Red Rakta. You could call it a shiny if you were in a Pokemon mood. Daddy, come quick. There's some people who need help. And obviously, everyone is just wrecked. Ah, be it calm. Your lady friend is caring for by my wife. Please, until you are being fully rested, we want you to stay and having our good hospitality. Are you sure you should be up? It's alright. I'm fine now. Sorry I worried everyone so much. What is Ryu and everyone else doing? They're over there, talking to the chief, Baha, about where we're headed. God. I am regrettable, but I know not of this that you seek. Honorable Fa, do you know of any ruins or something similar nearby? Ruins it is you are looking for? Then we are having. I love how Ryu's just like, yeah, like, he's right there, dude. To the north, over the hill, there's being a place very old that we are calling, and which I'm probably going, I mean, let's be real, we don't know what the exact dialect here is, but Ser Khan. It is the ruins of very, very olden city. We should go and check it out. Done so much for us. Thank you for everything. It's alright. As the desert gives us so little, we share what we have with each other. Nina's up and awake. She says she's fine. Ah, so this is meaning you are leaving then, yes? Thank you so much for all you've done for us, Fa. It is being no bother. I am hoping that you find soon that which you are seeking. Yeah, Momo is pretty up there in terms of levels. Still really squishy. I'm not sure what I want to do about that. I feel like I could put her on somebody that would buff her defense and health, so probably Fall. Her agility's good now. Trust me, don't worry about her speed. But I don't know. Then again, having 200-ish health and more defense would not be bad. She's... Our final party is probably going to be like this, if I'm being entirely honest with you. And if not that, then maybe Pico will end up in it for funsies. Nina, too squishy. Doesn't her home skills are not the best. It's all offensive spells with debuffs that can miss. Engar, love them, but I mean, I'm going to use Gar. I'm going to use Pico. May you be finding for what you are looking. The ruins? There's nothing there anyway. Why don't you stay here and play with us? Spoken like a true child. Feel free to take one of my Raktas with you when you head out. And that's how you get another one in your camp. You climb that hill, you can see the Ser Khan. You need any water before going into the desert? Yes. That's the desert out there. Sure you got everything you need? Okay, so there's one NPC I want to talk to before we do anything so that I can explain. Oh, it's probably this dude. Once, long ago, I went out into the desert on a trip. Let me tell you about what happened when I got lost. I left the oasis, headed for a place called the Factory. I walked south for about a night and got lost. I ended up heading west. After about 4 nights, I realized my mistake. Around that time, I lost something really important. So that one should be the sword. When I was coming back here from the factory, I got turned around and went west when I should have gone east. And this is probably where the localization for that note went wrong. I turned back after about 3 nights. I bet the nice outfit I lost is buried under the sands by now. So, 2 nights north is when you head east, when you're going to Oasis, and that instead says go west. It's a day further, but that might be why the localization for the note got ruined. So the first one is the sword. The second one is the armor, which is life armor, the other item you can get from Manila. I don't think there's anything that could kill my wife. Who says nothing can live in the desert? Look at us, we're alive, aren't we? But, overall, if I do anything else in the desert, I will probably do it off stream, if only for the... I mean, you saw how long it took to get through that, and that was, you know, mandatory progress. If requests come, I can do probably a dedicated session, maybe 2, if I'm being entirely honest, because that's how long some of those treks are, and get the good weapon for Pico, and try to get the Royal Sword. The Royal Sword will be kind of unnecessary soon, though. Pusu, Pusu. Sir Khan. Could it be where God once dwelt? I always thought that nothing could survive in a desert. People at the Oasis seem to be doing pretty well. Guess with a little luck, you might even be able to live out here in the desert. Everyone said it couldn't be done, but we did it. We crossed the ocean and we crossed the desert. I knew we'd make it. So we should actually be capped up already. Yeah. We're going to save. And then I'm going to show off not Serkan. Well, we might go in, but we won't like commit. But we're going to come right here. And there's a reason we saved. Because literally any one of these fights could literally just completely kill me. Fortunately, this won't. Oh, I suppose I should pull up her stats real quick. I think I put her under... No, I left her under Mary Leap. So, I want to point out 2 things. He has speed boots on. She does not. So that speed is just default. So I think if I put her under Fall and just let her level that way a little bit, Fall impacts Intelligence, which at this point Intelligence isn't that big of a deal, and Agility. She's good for Agility. He boosts Health, Power, and Defense, which would round her out real well. Actually, the more I think about it, the more I want to do that. But, yeah, that one place where we came to get the... hold up. I actually have to come here with Gar. Whoops. Now time to die. Oh, okay. But yeah, now that our formation is just normal, all three of them are just hitting about the same. But if we're going for serious fights, we will want to put the attack formation up. Ryu's offense is just off the charts when like that. And there are other options. I could take the chain formation, which comes from one of the four hide and seek siblings, and make Momo be the focal point that just turns everybody that fast. At that point, wouldn't matter who you brought because everybody would be that fast. In fact, if you plan on using that, it's best to just dump speed on whoever your secondary and tertiary would be at that point, and just go all in on like offensive stats. That way you've got real sluggers just ready to go. So this will bring us back to warp point B, and we'll head to warp point A. Or I might have had those reversed. Yeah. And what we want to do here is pick up Hachio as a master. Pretty sure his stat distribution is not super great. And he does offer one good skill called Demon Bane, but at this point, he was kind of our dedicated murder bot at this point. Like, Ray is a support that can fall back on the offense, and Momo, well, he. Oh, let me guess. You've heard about me and have come to study. To be cooks, yes? Yup, sure. Oh, how wonderful. You have all the ingredients I asked for. All right, then. I make you my apprentice. I'll make you into a first-rate cook in no time. We'll point it to Wendia real quick, bring Momo back, and apprentice her to Fall now. Which, I've been putting a lot of people under Fall this run. He really is. If you don't need the speed, or you're okay with penalizing it for a bit, he really is just a super good option. We'll also go into camp and verify what Hachio's exact numbers are. But I believe he penalizes speed, so that, and he prioritizes offenses rather than defense, so he's very much not somebody that you would want on anybody that's already lacking sturdiness or that needs speed. Okay. Wasn't sure how these would be here. So, we should have a filled out master list. Yep. It is weird that she's at the bottom and not Ladon, though. So, Hachio. 2 HP, 2 power. Oh, okay, 1 defense. Okay. But oof. Minus 2 AP, minus 1 agility, minus 1 int. If it wasn't for the AP penalty, sure. But if we're going to make somebody sturdy, 413 definitely blows that out of the water. So, judging by the amount of time between this being produced and the next video, we might have one other part already out. So I will wait to do stuff in the desert, which honestly I would really only go for Pico's thing anyway. So feel free to state if you would like me to do that on screen. It'll stretch things out by a little bit, and you've already seen the desert, so there's your warnings, I guess. Okay. So one or two more levels with Ladon should wrap him up via Ray. Ryu's going to stay on Ladon for... I don't know, I think he's fine as is. More... pardon me. More levels with Ladon will give agility. So... if without speed boots, Ryu hits 60, then I would maybe consider putting him somewhere else again, which would most likely be... honestly, fall again, just for more health. But... eh? Because the AP is actually really good right now. And we've got these. Like, I literally saved them for the end. Because if not then, when, right? So we're going to head back to the container yard. Save outside of Serkan. And we'll pick up next time with breaching into it and whatnot. Serkan is large. If this was still under streams, I would say this would be 2 streams at the most, probably. But with 1 hour being about what you're going to see for each individual part, it could take a few more parts. Which, I mean, is what it is, right? So, if y'all have any input, feedback on the quality, since this is different than when it was being streamed, by all means, please tell me. I would love feedback so that I can know what to improve upon. Um, Other than that, thanks for watching. Hope you all have a wonderful day. Take it easy. If you liked what you saw, please, give a like. If you want to keep abreast of things and you weren't already doing it, hit that subscribe button, I guess. Oh, it sounds weird to focus on that. Like I've been kind of pandering about this whole video. I do have plenty of other classics that we can be touching in a reasonable time frame. And for everything else, I am open to suggestions, provided I can get my hands on it easily enough. It's something within... I would even be willing to kind of swing at stuff not necessarily in my interests. Whether or not I complete it is another story entirely, but, I can give it a fair shake. Um, the newer it is, which also means the more inflexible its price would be, is another issue, but I do have plenty of stuff stockpiled over the years that I can touch in the meantime, so there may be some overlap on your requests and my stock. But again, thank you. Uh, if I have brought any measure of entertainment with all this, I'm happy for it. A 4445. And, you know, uh, been wanting to do, honestly, honestly, it was YouTube, not so much streaming, but streaming was the current thing, I guess. So actually recording and putting things on YouTube specifically is a callback to what I had originally wanted to do years ago. And even if I'm going to keep it as a hobby, I don't think we'll blow up. Be neat if we did, but uh, it feels kind of nice. But again, thanks. Y'all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next video. Y'all take it easy.